Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Annals of Biblical History. We're gonna look at chapter number 2 of the book of Adam and Eve. Remember, we started in chapter number 1 and we started in chapter number 3 of the Bible where the story begins, chapter 3 where it ended, and then we continued on chapter 1 of the book of Adam and Eve. So right now we are on chapter number 2. We're talking about the Garden of Eden, like what happened after the Garden of Eden. What were the days, like day 1, day 2, and day 3? What's happening on the first week after they went out of the Garden of Eden? I'm sure we're going to find some details that are not included in the Bible as we hopping onto this book right here. This chapter seems to be small, so just going to tap into chapter 2 and chapter number 3. I assume if chapter 3 is also short, we're gonna go to chapter 4, but let's see, we're gonna see where we end. So chapter 2, the title goes like, Adam and Eve faint upon leaving the garden. God sends his word to encourage them. Okay. Verse 1 goes like this. But when our father Adam and Eve went out of the garden, they trod to the ground on their feet, not knowing they were treading. This is number 2 goes like, and when they came to the opening of the gates of the garden, and saw the broad earth spread before them, covered with stones, large and small, and with sand, they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces from the fear that came upon them, and they were as dead. This is because they never seen such a sight before in their lives. They were protected within the garden. It was all beauty, good smell and everything, good sight, seeing other angels and stuff. There was nothing of this sort. Verse 3 goes like, because whereas they had hitherto been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees, they now saw themselves in a strange land which they knew not and had never seen. Exactly what I was saying. Verse number 4 goes like, and because at that time they were filled with the grace of a bright nature, and they had not had to turn towards earthly things. Okay, therefore, verse number 5, therefore had God pity on them, and when he saw them fallen before the gate of the garden, he sent his word unto Father Adam and Eve and raised them from their fallen state. So as they were heartbroken and feared, what manner of sight is this? God sent his word immediately to comfort them and raise them from their fallen state. Okay, let's go to chapter number 3 because this chapter was very, very short. Concerning the promise of the great 5 days and a half. Remember the great 5 days and a half shots I made on my shot. If you haven't seen it, please go to my YouTube channel and browse. You'll see the 5 days, the great 5 days. So it's basically a long time, not just 5 days like that, real 5 days. Okay, let's go to chapter 3. It goes like, God said to Adam, I have ordained these 8 days and years. Okay, I have ordained on these 8 days. Sorry, let me just go again. God said to Adam, I have ordained on this 8 days and years, and thou and thy seed shall dwell and walk in it until the days and years are fulfilled, and I shall send the word that created thee, and against which thou hast transgressed, the word that made thee come out of the garden, and that raised thee when thou wast fallen. We know the word. God says, when I shall send the word, that we know that Christ is the word. But let me not preach, because I'm not preaching here. We're just reading. Okay. Yeah, verse number 2. Yeah, the word that will again save thee when the 5 days and a half are fulfilled. 5 days and a half, which is not just days. God has said it here. Days and years. Okay. Verse number 3 goes like, but when Adam heard these words from God and of the great 5 days and a half, he did not understand the meaning of them exactly. He doesn't understand the meaning like I didn't at first. Okay, verse number 4. Adam was thinking that there will be but 5 days and a half for him to the end of the world. Exactly like Monday to Friday and half of Saturday, just like from morning to 12 midday. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And Adam wept and prayed God to explain it to him. Hmm. And there is the answer. Then God, in His mercy for Adam, who was made after His own image and similitude, explained to him that these were 5,500 years. Can you imagine? And how one would then come and save him and his seed. Who is that one? Is it Christ the Word? Hmm. Obviously, because there's only one Savior. Okay. Number 7. But God had before that made this covenant with our father Adam in the same times he came out of the garden, when he was by the tree whereof he took the fruit and gave it to him. Yeah, exactly. Verse number 8. Inasmuch as when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by that tree and saw how God had then changed the appearance of it into another form, and how it withered. That very tree that Adam and Eve took that fallen fruit from. God, Adam saw it and how it withered. So it was cast, I assume. Verse number 9. And as Adam went to it, he feared, trembled, and fell down. But God, in His mercy, lifted him up and then made this covenant with him. Okay, verse 10 goes like, and again, when Adam was by the gate of the garden and saw the cherub with a sword of flashing fire in his hand, and the cherub grew angry and frowned at him, both Adam and Eve became afraid of him and thought he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces and trembled with fear. Of course, the angel and the cherub is doing its job. That is what it's supposed to do. Because if it doesn't do it, it's gonna be cast and expelled like they did, like they had been. Okay, verse number 11. But he had pity on them and showed them mercy, and turning from them went up to heaven and prayed unto the Lord and said, okay, the angel had mercy upon them because it pity them, because it knew them before. Lord, thou didst send me to watch at the gates of the garden with a sword of fire. Okay. But when thy servants Adam and Eve saw me, they fell on their faces and were as dead. O my Lord, what shall we do to thy servants? The angel is praying to God. Then God had pity on them and showed them mercy and sent his angel to keep the garden. Okay. Remember, this mercy and pity doesn't go as like forgiving them completely and sending them back to the garden. No. Verse number 15 goes like, and the word of the Lord came unto Adam and Eve and raised them up. Yeah, but they were not going to the garden, were they? Verse number 16, and the Lord said to Adam, I told thee that at the end of 5 days and a half, I will send my word and save thee. Seriously, that pity and mercy doesn't go this far. It's just like limitations, I'm saying you. Okay. Verse number 17. Strengthen thy heart, therefore, and abide in the cave of treasures, of which I have before spoken to thee. The cave of treasures. Again, this word is coming. Okay, the last verse of chapter number 3 is verse 18. And when Adam heard this word from God, he was comforted with that which God had told him, for he had told him how he would save him exactly. But after 5,500 years, that is very painful. Okay, everyone, this is the end of this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please comment in the comment section and let's talk about this. It will be lovely to hear what you think of these chapters. What is happening? Do you still think this book wasn't supposed to be included in the Bible, the canonical books, or do you think it is fine as it is? It wasn't supposed to be included because of maybe the few verses that you don't see them fitting, we don't believe in them because of its authenticity. I do not know. I would love to hear your views on the comment section. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like and tell everyone else. Goodbye.